Allan, thanks so much for speaking with me. You're looking great, my friend. Before we talk about the project that you're involved with, I'm just curious because as we speak, TIFF has just finished up. Did you have a chance to be there and check anything out? Just curious.
Yeah, it's so funny. The longer I've worked in the business, the less time I've actually had to watch movies at TIFF. So I only got to see one film this year, sadly, because I was really busy with meetings, getting ready for Bandit to come out. What I will say is it was so great to see the city come back to life.
It definitely is, man. But you know, the other thing is really cool when I get to say Toronto director or director from Toronto. That I love, man. How does it feel representing the red and white when it comes to whether it be Hollywood North or just Hollywood in general?
Oh, it feels great. I mean, I'm such a proud Canadian, man. That's why I did this movie, just given the Canadian subject matter, which we'll obviously talk about, and just being able to make movies at home is like a dream come true.
Just one more question before we get into the film. What was it about getting into this business that you love so much? What was it like for you growing up? Were you one of those guys that, watched movies in a different way? Because I always find directors, when they were young, it wasn't like they were just watching a movie, they were studying movies. Maybe they didn't even realize it.
I got into this business because I'm a masochist. No, I've always been fascinated by storytelling. I think this inherent ability that you are given to take 90 to 100 minutes and evoke such a vast array of emotions for an audience, thrills, laugh, charm, horror, action, you kind of have this ability to control the emotions of people, and try to sort of make them feel the way you feel or the way that art touches you in a way. It was always fascinating to me because, if you have a blend, whether it's romantic comedy or horror comedy, and you can sort of like amalgamate and blend these genres together. And then it's like, you want someone to laugh, they laugh. If you want them to cry, they cry. And then there's this gratification that it sounds psychotic in a way now that I say it out loud. But there's something really gratifying, deeply gratifying.
Well, all those elements that you talked about, other than horror, kind of describes the film we're going to talk about now. And as you mentioned too, Canadiana to it too, man. What is the new film that you have directed, my friend, as we speak, is going to be coming out very, very, very soon?
It's called Bandit. It's out in theaters this Friday and on demand. It is the story of Canada's Flying Bandit, who has a record for the most consecutive bank robberies in all of Canadian history.
When did you hear about this story, and how did you get involved with this, bringing it to the big screen?
I always had heard the moniker, the Flying Bandit. It was one of those monikers you kind of just heard about, but I didn't know anything about. And then my agent sent me the script literally 5 years ago, like now, 5 years ago now. I read it, fell in love with it. I tracked down the book. I read the book, and I was like, oh my God, this is this guy's exploits. They're pretty fascinating. I can't believe that this is real, and B, it hasn't been told as a film yet. So I had to jump on
What time period are we talking here for this film?
it. 80s.
I love the 80s.
Best era, best music. Yeah.
And I'm curious too, because we're going to talk about the stars in a second. Is the music part of the film?
Yeah. Yeah. We've got some great tracks in the film, and a lot of them are by Canadian artists as well.
That's even better, man, because I think I've always said that the 80s for Canadian artists was sort of like a second resurrection when it came to us being noticed and how good we are when it comes to the music scene. Who are some of our big stars? Because I know you got an Oscar winner in there too.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's funny. The music, it's funny. I'm not sure what's more exciting, the music or the actors. I don't know. I mean, no, look, I mean, we've got, I've got Doug and the Slugs, Trooper, Burton Cummings and the Guess Who, Teenage Head. We've got some great Canadian music in the film. And then, we've got American stuff like Culture Club, Boy George, Yellow, Leonard Skinner. There's some solid stuff in the film, but yeah, it's nothing without the cast. I mean, Josh, Alicia, Nestor, Mel, obviously. I'm really blessed to have a great cast.
Okay, I got to ask, man, what's it like working with Mel when you've got somebody who is basically an icon in this business?
It's intimidating. I remember, the first time I got on the phone, I was so nervous, and then we kind of just started talking like old buddies, like Uncle Mel in a way. And he was great. I mean, he's one of the best filmmakers of our generation, not just actors. And so he was patient, he was humble, he was courteous. He never, stepped. It's funny because, like, as a director, I'm trying to think about being on someone else's set as an actor and then maybe not agreeing with the way they're going to do something. And I was like, oh God, is Mel gonna hijack this and tell me that I'm doing this all wrong? But the complete opposite. He was phenomenal. I can't say enough good things about him.
One of the tough things I read about, and correct me if I'm wrong, when it came to the filming locations, what was going on with that? Because at one point we were still in the Great White North, but then we had to head over to the U.S. What was happening there?
Yeah, it's a very bizarre story. So much for being so Canadian and patriotic. We were told that there were going to be a lot of hurdles because of COVID, especially when it came to people coming into the country. So if you're an actor in a film and your film is shooting in Toronto, you got to sit in a hotel. Remember this? You got to sit in a hotel for 14 days. So if you are someone who's working, let's say 5 or 6 days, which is very common, it's kind of a hard sell to say, hey, I know you're only working 5 days, but why don't you spend 14 days in a hotel room and then go to work? It's just, it is not conducive to a work environment, and it's not cost effective. So we got the call and said that we had to relocate to Georgia because the tax credit is much better than ours. And also no one didn't have to cross the border. So I had to go to Georgia and essentially recreate 1980s Vancouver, Ottawa, and Toronto in southern rural Georgia.
Incredible, man. This sounds so good. Well, I don't want to give, I mean, we've already told the story. We've talked about the actors. We talked about the music. I don't want to give too much more away, but can you give me a scene that you would say is your favorite? I know we've got the trailer up, but is there a particular scene that you're going to go, hey, folks, watch this?
There is one, but it's a spoiler, so now let me think.
So no, so let's not use that. No, something else.
Yeah, there's a sequence in the film midway through, about an hour into the film, where Josh Duhamel starts his crime spree against the backdrop of Burton Cummings' My Own Way to Rock. And Josh goes through about 16 disguises through this montage, robbing banks, sometimes going back to the same banks, asking, hey, what happened? That's crazy, in a different disguise, or robbing a bank and then going across the street and paying his credit card bill in another bank from the money he stole from the bank across the street. That's enough reason to see the film. That says it all.
And this is all true. Basically, this is all true.
All true.
That's the incredible part.
He racked up. This is crazy. So he discovered the Aeroplan program, and I think it was 86 or 87, and he essentially racked up over 160,000 flyer miles. And he used his points to fly himself first class around the country to different cities.
This guy's brilliant. I love this. What do you hope? What do you hope movie fans are going to get from this when they get a chance to see this?
I really hope they're going to walk away and be really mesmerized by the performances in the film. You know, Josh and Alicia have an incredible chemistry, and I've been such a fan of Alicia since PMK and 24. A fellow Canadian. And also, I think it would really inspire people to sort of dig into the real story a little bit, do more research on Gilbert, because his life is really fascinating.
Before we go, any other upcoming movies or projects that we can look forward to seeing you behind the scenes, behind the camera, and sitting in the director's chair?
Yeah, there's a couple things we're looking at right now, but I actually just got back from Las Vegas. I just produced the new Joel Kinnaman, Nicolas Cage film, Sympathy for the Devil, which I'm really excited about. We're editing that right now, and hopefully it'll be ready for one of the festivals early next year. So that one's a fun ride.
Allan, thank you so much for making time on your very busy schedule. Cannot wait to see this. It sounds like fun. I don't know what I'm more excited in seeing, just the story itself or hearing the music, because I think both are incredible. Thank you again, my friend. Really appreciate this.